And you are watching special coverage here on KXLY Plus. I'm Julian Minnesota alongside Alex Crescenti. And it's a special occasion. The national championship just ended. It was a battle to the end between UW and Michigan for the crown, and the Wolverines come out on top. They made just a few more plays than the Huskies did tonight.
Yeah, all night long it really felt like this was the Wolverines' night. They just dominated in the trenches, and that was where it was going to come by. And then they made quarterback Michael Penix Jr. just a little uncomfortable enough to throw him off his rhythm, and UW's offense just couldn't keep up.
Here are the highlights. The Huskies with the nation's best offense and head coach Kalen DeBoer, the AP Coach of the Year and Heisman finalist Michael Penix Jr. Michigan with the nation's best defense, head coach Jim Harbaugh, a lot of controversy surrounding him this season, and their quarterback J.J. McCarthy playing for that trophy right there. But it was Michigan's run game that made its mark early on. Donovan Edwards breaks free 41 yards to give the Wolverines the early lead and punch the Huskies in the mouth.
Now after that, the Huskies get a field goal back, make it a 7-3 game, but Michigan puts their foot on the pedals. Edwards again, a 46-yard touchdown run, and this game starts to get a little away from the Huskies, but they come back.
Yeah, the Huskies got going just before halftime, 4th and goal. Penix finds Jalen McMillan to cut it to a one-score game just before the break. That was huge.
Yeah, at that point you're thinking, are we going to have a ball game here? Well, at the start of the third, Michael Penix feeling a little pressure there and is picked off. Michigan's defense makes a stand there. Certainly not his best game of the year. That turns into a field goal for the Wolverines.
Yeah, both teams traded field goals in that third quarter. Michigan, though, with a punch here to the gut. Blake Corum fights his way into the end zone for the score to make it a 2-score game.
At that point, it's getting desperate for Washington. They need to try anything to stay in this ball game. Penix is going to force a ball downfield and is picked again. It looks like it's going to be a pick six at this point, but it doesn't matter because the Wolverines punch it in on the ensuing drive, and that's going to do it. Michigan completes the perfect 15-0 season, only the 6th time that's ever happened in college football. Their first national championship since 1997, only their 2nd title since basically World War II. It's been a long time coming for this team.
Yeah, 34-13 is the final score. It's the 12th championship in program history for Michigan, but like you mentioned, first since 97. Blake Corum, the running back, wins offensive MVP. Will Johnson earned defensive MVP. And when we look at this game, Alex, where do you think the difference was between the Wolverines and the Huskies tonight?
Well, I think it's a little ironic because the Washington's offensive line was deemed the best in the country coming into this game, right? And what happened? They couldn't protect Michael Penix. He was just uncomfortable enough. He was making off throws there. He couldn't get connected with his receivers, and it showed.
Yeah, one of the big things about this game, it's the last of the Pac-12. Yep. This is the final season, at least as the Pac as we know it. But a lot of vindication for the Pac-12 this year. Their best season in quite some time. You had a team go to the playoff. You had Oregon win their bowl game in the Fiesta Bowl. You had USC, UCLA win their bowl game. Cal got to a bowl game this year. So nothing to hang your head about for West Coast athletics, at least for the time being.
No, not at all, because for years the Pac-12 had been viewed as this joke of a conference, didn't have many good teams, but Michigan was clearly the best team in the country this year. But the best conference was the Conference of Champions. What a way to go out for as the conference as we know it at this point.
Yeah,
right?
and last thing I'll say is, I talked about it on our streaming with Sydney earlier. A week ago today, I was at the Buffalo Wild Wings in the Valley watching the Sugar Bowl game, and there were Husky fans everywhere, cheering. And this was so cool to see a team from our state, represented in such a big moment, because the Seahawks aren't getting it done, the Kraken aren't getting it done, the Mariners aren't getting it done. So it's not every day a team gets to a championship. Very hard to do that. So a lot of pride shown for the state of Washington for them just to be represented tonight.
Yeah, especially in an era of college football where it is dominated by the South. The SEC, the Big 12, and the Big 10 are the big players now. The Pac-12, they've only made the playoff 3 times. And Washington was twice there, and they become only the 2nd team to make the title game in the new format of this 4 teams. So it'll be interesting to see how Oregon and Washington sort of assimilate into the Big Ten and see if one of these 2 teams can make it back, at this point.
Yeah. We're going to have a lot more tonight on 4 News Now at 11 o'clock. Stay tuned for that. But for now, for KXLY Plus, I'm Julian Minnesota, and that's Alex Crescenti. We'll see you guys later tonight.